Okay, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to this CATALISI Success Story series. Our implementers are doing this stories so we can be inspired by their work through the CATALISI project and learn about what success stories they have achieved. So today we have the University KTU represented by Eglė, and she's gonna present transformational pathways towards enhancing public participation in research. So welcome Eglė. Let me stop sharing and you can share your screen.
Thank you, Sandra. I'm very privileged to be here today and for the opportunity to share our story. So let me share my screen. And I would like to check with participants. Do you see? And if everything is okay?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So today I will try to speak about transformational pathway towards enhancing public participation in research. In the advertisement that we received, it was said that it's KTU success story, right? But I would put a question mark, still a question mark. Is it a success story? We hope so, but actually, as we are in the process of this transformational pathway, I would say currently we hope that it will become a success story, but currently we are working hard to make it success story. When we speak about developing transformational pathways at the universities, I would structure my presentation into discussing three main questions. Why we are doing this? Why do we need transformational changes? And what is the motivation of doing this? Then the second question is what? Or what is transformational pathways, what we are doing. And finally, the third question that I focus today is how we are doing, because the result is very important, but I think in the transformational pathway, it is very important also to focus on the process, how smooth, how what challenges we have in this pathway, and thinking about this the whole transformational pathway. I understand this as a process, and what we learn in this process is also very important for achievement results and having a real success story. So I would start, as I said, from the question why, and I think this is related to university mission, because universities, current universities, they are living in a changing environment. We have processes of digitalization. We have different political situations and crises emerge globally, and these all factors affect the environment for universities as well, and we cannot stuck in some activities, and universities should rethink how they are performing, and what might be enhanced and made better than thinking about all activities of universities. We had a lot of focus at the universities on research, enhancing research, and top line research, but also about education of students, starting from bachelor degree students, but also providing master degree education, also doctoral education, but everything about trainings and education. But in current world, research and education is not the only parts of university activities. More and more we speak about the third mission of universities, which is about making social change, making impact for society, collaborating with society. And I would say it's very important that universities will think about addressing needs of society, that they are not performing per se, but universities, I see universities as a coherent actor in the ecosystem of the society. And when we speak about VICT problems, when we speak about changes in the society, and how universities with all competencies, research and education might do the best for society. So when we speak about universities, I would say transformational pathways are needed because universities have to adapt to changing environments, and they have to think about third mission. This is a connection with society and making social change. So thinking about our mission, our university mission, KTU's vision is to be an interdisciplinary university competitive at the international level, developing and transferring new knowledge and innovations. Even in the vision, we do not speak exactly about the kind of connection with society, but connection with society is dwelling between lines, and you can see if you are transferring new knowledge and innovation. It's for society, and especially for solving VICT problems of the society. Also, in our mission, we have emphasis on development of knowledge and technologies corresponding to society needs, and their transfer to students, business, and public sector. So, in our mission, we envision working closely with societal actors, and having this connection. Having said that, I would emphasize that nothing comes by default, right? So that's why we need to think about how to build capacities for public engagement, how to educate and work together with scientists that they think about society needs when doing research. In that aspect, I would say that citizen science, participatory and co-creative approach, stakeholder involvement becomes crucial keywords when we speak about activities, and including research, education, and further mission of the university. And here I would say we need to have a balanced approach. The bottom-up initiatives of creating citizen science projects, on organizing living labs, on involving stakeholders into the process of research and education is very important. We cannot move forward without the bottom-up initiatives. But also, top-down approach is also important. Why? Because when you have at the university level, at the top management level, the policy that supports public engagement in research, that eases all the processes. So I think both perspectives and both ways, emphasis on bottom up, but also not forgetting about top-down initiatives, is very important to balance at the university, and that's what we envision to actually have at our university as well. So, thinking about capacity building, we should think about building a support system, and support system starts from policy implementation, that we clearly declare what do we want to reach when we speak about public engagement in research. Also, it's related to trainings and awareness building, and of course, a simple mentorship through the process. So that's why I think when we were deciding about what areas of university activities we want to improve and enhance, we came with the decision to also focus on public engagement in research. Then another question is what? When we speak about transformational pathways, we have in mind that we have to create a strategy which is most effective to achieve social change. So in this process, I would envision this as the ecosystem of different parts working together and enhancing each other's activities. So for example, starting from analysis of current situation and setting goals, that was the starting point, thinking about transformational pathway. If you want to achieve something, you have to clearly know what you want to achieve. As in the book of Alice in Wonderland, right? It's very important to know where to go. If we don't know where to go, so any pathway is okay, but we want to choose the transformational pathway that leads to the goal. So that's why this initial step analysis, what do we have, what situation we are in, and setting a clear goal of what do we want to achieve is very important. Another part is creating strategies and action plans to achieve changes. So if we clearly set the goal, then we have to develop the strategy or an action plan, detailed action plan, how we want to achieve this goal. And just then we can enact internal institutional change. So we see in our activities when we speak about CATALISI, when we speak about transformational pathway, we see all these three parts working together and finally like starting internal institutional change. And finally, how we envision this process. So I would put this process in three simple words. What we emphasized in our pathway in CATALISI project. So first of all, first innovate, learn, and sustain. Three simple words. We started from innovate. We wanted to think out of the box because we have a lot of meetings, we have a lot of discussions, and sometimes we need to kind of step back from all the process that we involved in and look from the side to understand what we are doing. And actually, we can do this alone or we can do this in a group. So that was very beneficial to have also other consortium members to be in this process and to advise. And that's why we speak about acceleration services and the consortium members that supported us in this pathway. This support was very up to the time and very effective one. So we can do this alone, we can do it in a group, but in our case, in CATALISI project, we worked together. So we worked with frontrunners who are knowledgeable in some aspects, in some areas, and implementers that were learning in the process. And from this, I would go to the next step. So not just innovate, not just to have these kind of new ideas, but also to learn in the process was very important. And here we have different acceleration services. Actually, in our case, and I think that was the vision of the project itself, that we take the most important for us acceleration services and we learn from these experiences. And in our case, we also use these best practice cases, having these mutual learning events at different institutions, seeing how other implementers are going through these transformational pathways, and this was a process of learning. And now, after like 2 years, 2.5, I would say, years of implementation, we are in this final step. We work together internally, understanding situation. We like learned from others, and currently we are developing strategies how we can sustain all these learnings that we achieved during project implementation period, and we want to put these into tangible, not maybe tangible, it's more kind of strategic level documents, developing roadmaps, the action plans and strategies, how we can sustain, achieve transformational changes. So as you all know, CATALISI focused on three like big domains where transformational changes have been implemented: human capital, research modus operandi, and finances. In our case, we also went through the kind of transformational pathway, thinking about what we need to transform. At the beginning of the journey, we identified the actions in all three areas, but then we saw that it would not be very effective to kind of split our attention. So in this pathway, we also decided to focus on two major domains: human capital and research modus operandi. And today I am talking about public engagement in research, which is part of research modus operandi grounding action for us. So, as I already said, in the first step, we identified 5 grounding actions, but then at the end, we focused on working on 3 main grounding actions. First of all, supporting talent circulation and mobility. So we try to answer the question how to ensure the talent circulation and encourage mobility of employees. First of all, speaking about those who haven't actually started mobility initiatives, that haven't used opportunities to go abroad and teach or do shadowing of work and so on. Another intervention area, of course, that's human capital, but another grounding action is that we focused also on strengthening human capital. And here we had a question on how to strengthen human capital and research capacities. And we came with the idea that we have to strengthen our writing clinics. And currently we already did the survey of doctoral students, and now we are in the process of developing the action plan for writing clinic. And finally, we also, as I already said, focused on intervention area research modus operandi. And in this area, we identified grounding action, which is public engagement with and outreach to society to solve social challenges. And the main question here is how to enhance public engagement and inclusion of different stakeholders to do research together and to solve societal challenges. And in this way, our long-term vision is that university becomes the real active social change agent, and the cooperation with society in doing research is widespread and running smoothly. So that's our long vision. But to achieve this long vision, of course, we need to take small steps. And one of the small steps is being now. We are focusing on transformational pathway and using acceleration services to enhance our capacities to change this culture. So in total, as we all know, we in this project had 7 acceleration services. And today I would say that Living Labs approach was the most useful for us to work on this grounding action, which is public engagement and in research, because Living Labs in the methodology emphasizes stakeholder involvement, working with stakeholders, and that's exactly what we need to do in implementation of this grounding action. Focusing on guided process of how to implement Living Lab also enhanced our capacities to organize Living Labs ourselves. During the implementation of CATALISI project, we also joined the National Association of Living Labs. So we had presentations in this association also showing CATALISI potential to be part of Living Labs and what we are doing with different stakeholders to achieve transformations. Of course, the Living Labs approach involves all stakeholders, at least in our case, we focused on a quadruple helix model, inviting governmental representatives, society or representatives from NGOs, also businesses, social businesses in particular, and also academic community to work together on analyzing what do we have currently and what might be or what might be improved in this transformational pathway towards enhancing public engagement in research. And we started from these small steps, innovate, learn, and sustain. And I would speak about 2 steps in one part, because the organizing of Living Labs and innovating ideas of what do we want to achieve and what are the best means and tools to achieve this, we also learned. So we used these acceleration services and we did Living Labs and we learned and we innovated. So all these processes came together. So that's why I will present our pathway in joining these 2 steps. And then I will speak about how we plan to sustain. That means how we plan to create sustainability pathways through the grounding actions in our chosen intervention areas. So in general, transformational pathway is successful when it is aligned with broader strategies. So we needed to localize our actions, and these actions, our grounding actions, should have been in line with university and faculty strategies, missions, and visions. So what we wanted also to broaden our actions, and that's why we used Living Lab approach, that what we plan to achieve should be in line with stakeholder needs. We should be in line with socio-economic, political, and technological environment of the country, and also on a global level as well. So the localizing actions and broadening actions were our strategy to achieve the most clear goals in this transformational pathway of KTU in CATALISI project. And our strategy emphasized, our faculty strategy emphasized 3 main pillars: internationalization, multidisciplinarity, and methodological competencies. So thinking about internationalization, and of course the grounding action of societal engagement in research, we thought that we focus on local stakeholders, but also we should not limit ourselves to local stakeholders. That's why it is very important to engage international community and international stakeholders in our pathway. And of course, we have several challenges here in this process, because sometimes we lack interest from the parties we would like to involve in research. We also sometimes lack motivations, and some bureaucratic obstacles are also there. Speaking about multidisciplinarity, I think thinking about societal engagement in research, co-creation approach is the best one to choose and go forward. But also we have challenges here. For example, research evaluation is still sometimes very related to disciplines, right? And with new QARA agreements, the research culture maybe it will change in the future, but currently there are still existing different paradigms, research evaluation limitations. So co-creation approach is moving forward, but maybe not as fast as we want it to move. And finally, methodological competencies. We thought that it's very important to broaden horizons, that methodology and research is not just what we do in labs and what we do as scientists, but also to involve public in research. And this is a new perspective for some researchers, at least at our university. And it does not come by default that everyone is very willing to start participatory research. So still awareness raising and is much needed, and trainings are much needed how to do this. So we have here also challenges of perceptions of validity. Is data collected by non-scientists is also good data, and we have also challenges to engage public, because the public is not always also is not sometimes motivated to dedicate time to do research. But that's our strategy to achieve public engagement in research through 3 dimensions of our faculty strategy. And I'm coming to the last step, which is sustain. And in CATALISI project, we are creating a roadmap how to sustain all these endeavors that we already did. And currently we are in the process of developing a roadmap which has 6 main parts: purpose and goals, stakeholders, engagement strategies, infrastructure and support, and implementation plan. And also monitoring and evaluation, 6 parts. So we just briefly run through all these parts, that what we are focusing on. So in a roadmap for public engagement in research, first of all, we define the purpose and goals, and we start from the main question: why engage the public? Why do we need this? Maybe we can live easy and peacefully without all these struggles to work together with society, right? But we decided to do this. We decided to change this culture, and that's why starting why we need this, I think it's an essential question to answer and move forward with roadmap. In this part, we also define vision, mission, and overarching aim. As already mentioned, our strategy is to be a university implementing social changes. And that's why we developed objectives, what we want to achieve. And first of all, increase awareness, co-create knowledge, build trust, influence institutional policies. And here we also determine our expected outcomes. In long term, we want to increase awareness of research about citizen science. And that's what we aim for in our roadmap. And speaking about means, we emphasize trainings and public lectures during the project, but also we will describe how these initial steps might be supported and sustained in the longer future. Then the second part is stakeholders. Here we describe audiences, what we want to focus on, and also engagement level. In our roadmap, we speak about 4 major steps. First is information, then consultancy, then collaboration and empowerment. So we envision the engagement level having like 4 main steps in achieving our goal. And also tailored communication, that we developed the different strategies to communicate with students and with researchers and the larger community. Speaking about the engagement strategies, in this part we speak about communication and outreach. We also emphasize participation and dialogue, how to engage in citizen science projects and co-creation workshops, focus group discussions, deliberative forums, and public consultations. And finally, education and capacity building. And here we envision partnerships, especially with secondary schools, primary schools. We started to do this in other projects, and also with libraries. Working with libraries is very important, because we moved our citizen science hub from the one faculty. We moved the hub to the library to have a broader impact on other faculties, on other disciplines. And also in this part, we envision training programs for researchers on science communication, and kind of developing, supporting, and having an idea to have ambassadors from different disciplines to move citizen science forward. The fourth part focuses on infrastructure and support, and here we speak about dedicated team, unit of engagement. Also, it's very important in our roadmap to think about the funding portfolio, because none of the initiatives is very effective and efficient and successful if you put all your efforts on one funding source, right? So in our vision, we want to engage different funding sources to create a funding portfolio to support all activities what we are doing. Partnership with other living labs nationally and internationally. Also data infrastructure to create open access repositories for citizen science data. And as a faculty, we host LIDA archive, which opens the perfect opportunities for us to work also to include citizen science data in our archive. And developing further digital space website for sharing data, stories, interactive research experiences. Then implementation plan. Here we describe short-term, medium-term, and long-term activities, what we planned. And finally, monitoring and evaluation part, where we describe key indicators, how we will measure our success. Also feedback loops, how we will adjust strategies to public responses and to the situation in general. And finally, impact assessment, how we see that we are successful, right? And that's, I think, will be the right moment to answer if KTU is this transformational pathway towards involving citizens into research is a success story. Just then we can say through qualitative methods like testimonials, stories, and quantitative methods when we have some numbers to indicate some changes in our institution. So thank you so much for listening, and if you have questions, I would be very happy to answer them. Also, if you would like to share your stories or best practices, or even I think sometimes it's very important to hear worst practices, what not to do, right? So I would also very much invite for a discussion, because we still have for 15 minutes for engagement, thinking and sharing our experiences. Thank you so much.